Good morning, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. A little bit of an update, or lack thereof, from Greg Grippo and Victoria Fuller have led audiences in Bachelor Nation to believe that looks like their relationship's pretty much all but over. Now, Victoria, one of her last relationships, I think Chris Soules, ended without any public announcement. It's probably really good for her mental health and for most Bachelor alumni to not comment on their breakups because, you know, it's kind of become one of those things like audiences demanding to know what went down and how it happened. Well, all signs point to they are no longer together, or they're taking a giant media break from each other. Greg Grippo not found in his following, but Victoria unfollowed him and he unfollowed her. So in both cases, it's a pretty good sign that they are no longer together. There's also, you know, blogs written about where they've been. It's been a while since anyone has seen them together, since they've posted together. There's also another couple that is sort of Bachelor Nation, that being Kelly Flanagan, who we'll get into in a minute. It looks like her kind of serious relationship has ended. So here's what Betches.com posted. Hate to say it, but looks like Greg and Victoria broke up. I'm thinking Victoria Fuller may have to start expanding her dating pool beyond the Bachelor world at this point. Happens to the best of us. The Bachelor and Bachelor in Paradise star began her love and fame journey on Pilot Pete's 2020 season. Can you believe it feels like she's been around for 20 years here. So her and Greg started dating after her relationship with Johnny DiFilippo didn't work out, and they obviously had a very contentious start with the Bachelor audience. I believe she even flicked them off in the crowd, or flicked somebody off, did one of those things after, of course, people were wondering about the overlap between when her Bachelor in Paradise season ended and the fact that she was spotted in Rome with Greg Grippo. It was a huge scandal. It was a very wild time where people were wondering if it was them, if it wasn't. Others said, "Hey, I just spotted Victoria Fuller at the Coliseum," and people were like, "What, at the Coliseum? No way!" So it was a very wild story. Here's what our friend Zachary Reality had to say about their breakup, or lack thereof, social media following.
Well, you guys have been wondering for a long time, but it is definitely over between Greg and Victoria. They unfollowed each other on Instagram, and Bachelor Nation Reddit noticed this yesterday. The pictures are still up on their page. I don't know if you guys delete pictures when you break up with an ex or you archive them. I really don't think they're ever gonna speak about it or tell us what happened. Maybe eventually. I don't know.
So the way which way to go? Oh, excuse me. So sorry about that. The only way these breakups work is if both sides agree not to talk. If Greg Grippo was to go on a podcast and discuss it, then, we might find out that she wants to share her side. Was it amicable? Now, what we know is Greg and Victoria were a part of, they were for a brief time, very hated by Bachelor Nation, more so Victoria, but that's, due to, I would say, ways that, people have had their issues with her in the past. And I hesitate to say myself included. Of course, I was, center to the reporting that she what's the part where I cheated on John DiFilippo, which sources never came forward, and it was just a story that I had since retracted in the sense where I apologized to her, saying, "Sorry, I don't want to get in the way of your relationship. I wish you guys the best," that type of deal. I've offered to have her on Driving with Dave, but could totally understand why she wouldn't want to be a part of that and not answer questions. It's like, if you're she had her podcast and sort of dropped it, probably didn't need it. If you're an influencer and your brand's making money and doing fashion and you don't need to discuss your relationship, why put that extra toll on yourself? I totally understand. I've totally explored how I'm sort of guilty and or complicit sometimes in reporting on stories where I don't have the full story. And we'll never have the full story about when her and Greg Grippo started. My guess is, as I look at it now, is that her relationship with Greg Grippo started when she was at least sure she was no longer with Johnny DiFilippo. It doesn't mean he was sure about that. They might have had an on-again, off-again type of relationship where they were off again and she caught eyes for Greg. That could have been the case. Maybe he thought it could have been repaired, or she moved on too soon. We truthfully don't know, but clearly that doesn't seem like that'll ever mend itself. Now folks are saying, oh, maybe Victoria Fuller could go on Pilot, her and Pilot Pete could get back together, some crazy scenario like that. Maybe Greg Grippo will get with Daisy, and now as fans speculate, we'll have to see what happens. But my guess is the strategy will be that they just don't address it, which I think is good for them, although it would be nice for audiences to have closure, as dumb as that sounds. I understand how dumb closure sounds because we're just spectators in their game of life, really. So anyway, that was a quick article by Betches. We don't have any reporting that it says it's Zachary Reality said they're definitely over, but again, without any sort of insider information. I was considering asking some people in their circle, but I was like, you know what? Whatever. Who cares? It doesn't work out. Some said, well, she must feel very foolish because the relationship didn't work out. They got matching tattoos. It started so hot and heavy. And my response to that is, look, I have to commend her for taking stabs at love. You know what I mean? Hopefully she, like Greg, like all of us, can try to understand where her sore spots are and try to seek therapy to fix them. Again, I'm not saying that as if she was the problem in the relationship. Maybe Greg wasn't ready to settle down or the long distance got the best of them. We truthfully don't know, but I do believe there is a scenario where Victoria finds out what she's looking for and how she can sort of be the best version of herself and be a great wife if that's what she wants, or mom, or whatever, or both, So we'll have to see how that all plays out. Now, same season, Pilot Pete, the season that never ends, we've got Kelly Flanagan. And this is the last photo of her and her, I guess, boyfriend from Valentine's Day 8 weeks ago. Fans have noticed that that he has removed tags and all of that. So whether or not they're still together is yet to be seen. But this relationship was pretty hot and pretty heavy, but she still has photos of him up. Although, like I said, it looks like it's possible his tags have been removed, which could have been her doing or his doing. It would be very obvious if all the photos are removed, although folks are wondering, and again, you got to understand, if it bleeds, it leads. Breakup stories are always the highest performing stories on my channel. But no, I want people to be happy. I don't know a thing about this guy. Maybe it was the guy, maybe it wasn't. I have no idea. But either way, she had that messy breakup with Pilot Pete to the point where she released that YouTube video explaining things and astrologers. I mean, clearly they were on again, off again. So who's the dramatic one? Is it Pete or is it his contestants? Or maybe it's both. Who really knows? But what a wild season that was. As for whether or not I'm ready to officially break that Victoria and Greg are no longer together, it might be one of those things that just, is there a term for this? A soft breakup? It might be what they consider a soft breakup. The only way we'll know that they're officially broken up is when they officially announce another relationship or are spotted, canoodling or dating or whatever. So again, there's your update. I know people have been asking for it. I just don't know what else to say other than looks like they're not together. Wishing them all the best. And we'll be back with more content right after this.